Back then, life felt different in ways that are hard to explain today. Most people had less technology, fewer distractions, and far fewer reasons to feel constantly overwhelmed. And yet, many who grew up during those years still remember everyday life feeling calmer, slower, and somehow more real than it does now. Kids spent entire afternoons outside without getting bored. Families sat together at dinner almost every night. Neighbors knew each other by name, and even an ordinary day seemed to have a rhythm that modern life slowly lost somewhere along the way. Mornings used to begin quietly. The smell of coffee filled the kitchen while sunlight came through the windows before the day fully started. Parents read the newspaper at the table. Kids ate breakfast before school, and for a little while the whole house felt calm. Nobody was waking up and immediately scrolling through notifications or staring at a screen. People started the day more slowly, and maybe that was one reason life itself felt steadier too. And once breakfast was over, everything moved outside. Back then, childhood mostly happened outdoors. Kids rode bikes for hours, played baseball in the street, climbed trees, explored empty lots, and knocked on friends' doors without texting first. Nobody needed a schedule just to have fun. One kid walking outside usually turned into the entire neighborhood gathering together before long. By the time the streetlights came on, children had already spent the whole day moving, laughing, arguing, exploring, and figuring things out on their own. Looking back now, that freedom gave kids a kind of independence that feels rare today. The neighborhoods themselves felt more alive too. Screen doors slammed all afternoon, lawnmowers hummed in the distance, and someone always seemed to have music playing from the garage. Adults spent more time outside, talking across fences, washing cars, cutting grass, or simply sitting on the porch watching the evening settle in. Because people saw each other every day, communities felt naturally connected. Today it is easier than ever to call or text someone, but somehow many people still feel more disconnected than before. Even dinner felt different in those days. Around evening time, the whole house slowly gathered in the kitchen. You could smell food cooking before anyone called you to the table. Families sat together, talked about school or work, and shared a part of the day before the night began. People were not eating separately while staring at different screens. Meals had a time and a place, and that simple routine gave the evening a feeling of structure that many people still miss today. And when the day finally slowed down, it truly slowed down. Most homes had one television and only a few channels. Families watched the same shows together before the house gradually became quiet for the night. There was no endless scrolling, no constant stream of videos, and no feeling that the internet never slept. The day actually ended. Kids looked forward to Saturday morning cartoons all week because they could not watch them anytime they wanted. Even simple weekends felt special back then, whether it was a trip to the mall, a drive across town, or just spending time together at home. Of course, life was not perfect back then. Every decade had its own struggles and problems. But when people talk about the good old days, they are usually not talking about perfection. They are talking about how everyday life felt while it was happening. Life moved more slowly. People seemed more present. Conversations lasted longer. Moments felt more meaningful because they were not constantly interrupted by noise, screens, and distractions. Today, the world is faster, easier, and more connected than ever before. We can reach anyone instantly, order almost anything, and entertain ourselves endlessly without ever leaving home. And yet many people still feel exhausted, distracted, and strangely disconnected from real life. Maybe that is why so many still look back on those years with warmth. Not because everything was better, but because ordinary life often felt calmer, steadier, and more human than it does now. And maybe that is the real reason those memories still stay with people after all these years. Back then, people were not trying to slow down. Life was already slower.